But we have had so much to discuss here. There is so much to break down around this. And I know they touched on a hypothetical trade for Kevin Durant, what that would command after seeing something like this. But just initially, my reaction when I saw Woj report this Rudy Gobert news was wholly expletive.
Yeah.
What was yours?
All right, so first, right off the bat, it was immediately you picture Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns on the floor together. And I say to myself, okay, clearly Minnesota wanted to get better at protecting the rim. They just did. They added maybe the best in the league at doing that. But the league in general is trying to get better at defending the three-point line and being more versatile defensively. You've gone the opposite way now by pairing these guys up in terms of that. You've gotten a little bit slower defensively on the perimeter. Pick and pops are going to be harder to guard. Pick and rolls, transition threes are going to be hard to guard. Now, offensively, this makes Karl Anthony Towns more comfortable. Okay, that's fine, but he still also spends a lot of time in the paint, which is where Rudy Gobert is pretty much every single possession. It's pick, dive, pick, dive, pick, dive, pick, dive. Karl Anthony Towns is not just going to be a spotted three-point shooter. He's also very good on the block. So even offensively, I'm trying to picture the pairings. But listen, so I'm right now thinking, as far as Minnesota's concerned, I have to see what this looks like before I can make a determination. I can't automatically today sit here and say, oh, well, they're now climbing rungs in the Western Conference. Like they're more of a contender. I need to see what that's going to look like. And then from Utah's perspective, now it looks to me like I'd be shocked if Donovan Mitchell does not insist on getting out of Utah, and that now becomes very interesting with some of the teams Wendy mentioned that might want to get him.
So I look at it differently. When I look at the Timberwolves getting Rudy Gobert, I think they are one round better than they were last year, and that's ultimately the goal. And the reason why I think this is when you look at the league, you look at what the Lakers did, right? LeBron James, they had, Anthony Davis. They were also playing Dwight Howard. They were playing JaVale McGee. They were playing big. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well from three, but they were big. Now, I'm not saying that Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns are the same, but even if you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, when, again, great defensive player, when you talk about Lopez and when you talk about Giannis. So there's been teams that have been successful going with that big. I'll even go to the Cleveland Cavaliers last year and minus that towards the end. But they were playing Lauri Markkanen at the 7. They were playing Evan Mobley, and they were playing Jared Allen. So I think if you start to look around the team, we were seeing a shift to like, hey, can we pair some big guys up and just be defensive monsters? Now, that does open you up to threes, but not every team can shoot threes the same way the Warriors and probably about 2 or 3 other teams.
And it works with the Cavaliers, but when I think about, okay, when Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins were kind of supposed to be the twin towers on the Pelicans, that didn't work out.
That was an Achilles. That was Achilles.
But also Milwaukee, I mean, Giannis, okay, yeah, they're both 7 feet tall. Giannis guards
everyone.
That's a little like...
Agree. But I'm just saying we're seeing more size being on the league. Now, you need that versatility. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Well, I thought of a lot of things.
Oh, here we go.
Because he started thinking yesterday.
No, I just started recapping and wish we would have brought up the receipts. I thought about when I set up here probably in February, and I was trying to tell Shanae, and I was also telling you, that Rudy and Donovan Mitchell didn't get along and they didn't like each other. The writing was all over the wall, and this is what happened. Okay, they got Rudy up out of there. That's the first thing. Then the second thing I thought of is Patrick Beverley in Utah. Patrick Beverley in Utah. Let that sink in for a second. And then I thought about how is this going to work with Rudy and Karl Anthony Towns. Well, they just invested a lot of money in Karl Anthony Towns, and I think this actually worked in his benefit. Now he's able to be the best version of himself and them not trying to make him into a person that he's not. Yep. Although we all may want him to play the 5 like we do with Anthony Davis. The results tell us they don't want to play the 5. Karl Anthony Towns averaged, 6.5, 7 3-pointers last year? Like, that is extremely high for a big man. So although he's 7 foot, doesn't make him a big. Like, he loves to playing around out on the perimeter. And when I watch him switch 1 through 5, he's not bad at moving those puppies. I actually love this addition. I actually think that they're trying to do it their way, and they're trying to go back to the traditional 2 big, and I think it's okay, because eventually it's going to move back in that direction. We have seen it time and time again.
I am in disbelief at the amount of draft picks the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert. Disbelief.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer. He's 30. He has 4 years left on a gigantic contract. And we have seen in the playoffs, his defense has not been the issue. It's that he can't do anything on offense when teams go small against you. I think in the regular season, this is going to work really well. RJ just said maybe they got 1 round better. I actually think that's fine. I think offensively they'll figure it out. Defensively, they have realized with Karl Towns at the 5, they're not going to be good enough defensively. Rudy Gobert is a top 10 defense unto himself.
Yep.
By himself, he is a top 10 defense. They're going to win a lot of games in the regular season with Ant, Cat, Rudy. I just think the price they paid, look, you get one shot at this if you're Minnesota. You get
everything you ever wanted.
One shot to trade picks or use cap space. That's out the window now to get a third guy next to Edwards and Towns.
Yeah.
I am in shock that they decided this was going to be their shot. 5 picks and a swap for Gobert. And you can tell me they kept Jaden McDaniels. That's great. I hope you keep Jaden McDaniels if you trade 5 picks and a swap. They're going to be better. I'm just not sure it's better enough to justify the outlay. And one last thing. Wendy mentioned the Nets-Celtics trade. The one difference here is, and the Wolves have this going for them. Cat and Ant are so young that they're insulated from that disaster downside that the Nets had. But I just think the draft outlay is I mean, I'm literally in disbelief.
So let's just be clear, though. We're saying one round better. You're saying
one round.
You're saying
round.
top 4 in the West.
Look at the West, man.
Yeah,
And you're saying top 4 in the West.
They took the Grizzlies to. They took the Grizzlies.
Because one round better, second
7.
round, that puts you in the final 4 in the conference. So you're saying top 4 team in the Western Conference.
Well, we're talking a whole lot
That's
about.
what we're saying. If you say another round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means they
I'm
get
not
out.
sure
I
about
think
that.
they get to the second round. I think they get to the second round. That's what I see.
We're
But
talking
you're
a whole
right.
lot
You guys
about
might be
picks.
right. I need to see it.
Yeah,
I just need to see what that looks
It's
like.
gonna be tough.
But the picks are what's leaving you gobsmacked.
Wow.
And
At this point, the only team that has enough picks to trade for Kevin Durant is Oklahoma City. I mean, what is Kevin Durant going to take, 12 first-round picks?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.